Good evening. How's everybody? Good. Thank you for coming out and being a part of Let's Talk. Now, one of the things I'm going to do today is that I'm going to share some information with you all. And this information I'm going to share with you first is going to touch on a few things that we have done in the last session of the legislature that you may or may not be aware of. Good things that's going to make life better for Alabama citizens. Then I'm going to touch a little bit on what we're trying to do this particular session and some of the things that are priorities that we're working on now and plan on working on. And then I'm going to stop at that point and we're going to open it up and we're just going to talk to each other. Just that simple. We're going to talk about anything that you'd like to talk to in the legislative process, and hopefully we'll be able to satisfy whatever your concerns or questions are. In terms of funds, just like you all, we have to be prudent of your money just like you do at home. When I came into this position, the first thing I did out of the budget, I cut some $500,000 out the budget before I took office during that budget period. The second, after being in a year, this past budget, I cut another $300,000 out of the operation of that budget. So the same thing that you hear us talk to you all about and we do with education, trust fund and everything, we have to set the example ourselves by cutting back and taking more and be more efficient with it. And that's something that we try to do in the Pro Tem's office. Other critical issues that we're looking at in this session, as far as push to end no-bid contracts, it's estimated that by bidding out contracts, the state could save at least 10% on spending. Pushing to require that all checks written by contractors be published online, just like all state checks are being published. What that means at the end is simply this. If you want to see anything we're spending on the state, all you got to do is go online. You'll see how much we spend, who we writing checks to, and how much. And as we look at priority of things that we're going to do is create jobs. So right now, what you seeing us debate and seeing on TV is the highway roads bill. And that bill is designed to create 30,000 jobs. We have a formula now that the county will get a certain portion of it, each county, and our cities will get a certain portion on it. And a lot of it is based on the gas tax formula that we have right now. So the city of Birmingham, usually, for instance, would only get, well, Homewood too, for that matter, if it's a state highway, then they will get funds from the state. But if it was a city highway or a county highway road, you wouldn't get those funds from the state. But in this bill, there's going to be funds for those city roads that you have in the city, and it's going to be for the county roads as well that come through the city. The next thing is we're going to be tackling is the dropout prevention. We've established a statewide commission on dropout prevention that's coming up with some suggestions, and I'm a member of that particular task force. But also, we are beginning to develop the Pro Tem's office. In fact, I am, and I have a person on staff that's working with the State Board of Education, and we are putting together a unique dropout prevention program for the districts of Homewood and for the districts of Birmingham school system so that they can have an opportunity to implement it. You know, I found the necessity that we need to do that because I don't know if you all realize, but in the Birmingham system, you have over 50% of African-American males dropping out. It's over 50%. I know you hear folks say 70%, but I know for a fact it's over 50%. In the Homewood system, the overall dropout rate is about 17% or 18%, which that's still too high in terms of our kids dropping out of school. So that's something we're doing. Another thing, of course, is retaining teachers and to keep our teaching and student ratio low, reforming unemployment. That's the $100 million I talked to you about being able to get in terms of stimulus money. With the unemployment rate, of course, you know it's 11%, and as I mentioned, we'll get to $100 million for additional unemployment benefits. Now, also to capture these funds, we must do these three things: has changed our law to allow victims of domestic abuse to receive unemployment while they're recovering, which we don't at this time. Expand the program to include part-time workers, which if you're a part-time worker, you can't qualify now at this time, and provide unemployment to people who enroll in training programs to improve their skills. Right now, you only get so many weeks. After that, you can be in a training program, and then they just cut you off. So we're going to make sure we continue those funds going for you. If we don't accept this money, it'll go to another state. It's just that simple. The legislative session, the 209, included bills. That's what we passed last time, bills that deal with tutoring, childhood obesity. Of course, we have the Alabama Regional Initiative. CHIPS program, we'll add 14,000 more young people on it. We have the #1 program in the country. And also on this particular area, we work to deal with internet child predators. We have laws to deal with that. Sex offenders living within 2,000 feet of college university, we stopped that. And of course, we stopped people from benefiting from their crimes. Of course, DNA testing for anyone convicted of felony offenses. Of course, exempt fuel tax for volunteer fire departments, and police and sheriff deputies can now use mopeds. I thought that was legal to do, but it wasn't a law allowing them to do that, even though they were using them here, even in Birmingham. But now it is legal for them to do that. We also made it mandatory for hospitals to keep data on infectious people yet while they're in the hospitals, reform mortgage license business by requiring training, ethical testing, and ban against criminal convictions of fraud, breach of trust, and money laundering. We stopped credit card companies from increasing interest rates when people get behind on their payments. These are some things we did to support the military families, made it easy for active duty military families to get school records, created new car tags, exempt retired soldiers and reservists from license taxes on one of their vehicles. We provided $1 billion in loans to homeowners at modest interest rates. Program will benefit 7,000 families. These are things we did last session. Extend unemployment compensation for additional 20 weeks. The film industry, we made it advantageous by providing incentives to make films here in Alabama, the Boxing Commission, and of course you see down here where we talked about the Jefferson County occupational tax. Now in the 2010 session, it began on January the 12th, and almost everyone agreed Alabama is facing tough economic times. Education Trust Fund, and these are some facts, is $1.5 billion below the 2007 level of the general fund budget. It's the worst in the education fund, and it could be 30% cut in various departments. Proposed state budgets from governor's office includes federal funds from a second stimulus package. However, as of right now, this is money that does not exist. As the federal officials do not approve more stimulus funds and the budget passes based on these non-existent funds, Alabama will face even deeper cuts in state funds and program service. Priorities this particular session will include pre-K programs, Alabama Reading Initiative, senior RX, Meals on Wheels, unemployment refunds, and jobs through infrastructure improvement. These are some of the priorities that we're working on right now. That's what we've had to do. We've had to rank what our priorities are. And what I mean by that is that we had to come down on helping citizens versus coming down on brick and mortar. Also, we're looking at doing a lot of things to help small businesses so that they can stay afloat and be able to provide a tax base for us. Grocery tax, that's something we're looking at, but with the way that things are moving this session, it's going to be very difficult for the House to get it through, to get it to us. If they do, we're going to tackle it in the Senate. And you said, why don't you start it first in the Senate? Because if you all and I know about government, all those revenue measures like that really have to start in the Senate, the House, to be constitutional. And of course, we're going to do everything in our power to keep the taxes low. I don't see the legislature placing any taxes on you all to the level that it's going to cause you burden or anything. In fact, I don't see them placing any taxes on citizens this year, not direct taxes at all. Okay, this is our website. Please get this information and look at this website because we keep it updated. In fact, we're working now to the point that we're going to try to update it every legislative day to let you know exactly what's happened down there in the legislature. This is going to be your way when you can't get down there to be able to pull it up and be able to see what we're doing down there and how issue is moving, as well as be able to see some other things about what's going on in the legislature.